Hi guys, in this video tutorial I'm going to show you how to create marker collision inside of Unity 3D using Vuforia and Playmaker. What I'll do from now on is I'll actually show you the end goal, the product that we're trying to make, and then I'll go through step by step. Okay, so if I hit play, you can see we have two markers on the screen, a cube and a sphere. If I bring the cube close to the sphere goes red, and if I move it apart, the sphere goes back to its normal color. We can set the distance or how sensitive this collision is, and I'll show you that later on. Okay, so let's go about making this. So I'm going to create a new scene, and we need our basic AR setup. So we need the AR camera, and for this we're going to need two image targets. In the AR camera I'm going to use the stones and chips dataset, and I'm going to change each of the image targets to use that as well. Okay, so we used stones before, so this one's going to be chips. Drag them apart. I'm going to create two game objects, a cube, and I'm going to create a sphere. I'll reset the transform and I'll scale them down. Now I've missed a step on purpose, and I'm going to show you explain why in a minute. So if I hit play, you can see only one cube is being displayed, but the sphere isn't. If I turn over the cube, the sphere is being displayed, and vice versa. Now the reason for this is that you have to actually change a setting in your AR camera. So in this case I'm going to go AR camera, and I'm going to change the max targets on it. In this case it's going to be 5. Even though I only have two markers displayed in the scene at once, there's no limit to this as far as I'm aware, but the more markers you have displayed on the screen at once is going to affect performance hit. So one marker displayed on the screen isn't as intensive on your device as 10 markers being displayed. So now if I hit play, you can see I have both markers being displayed at once. I'm going to create a direction light so we can see the color. I'm going to create an empty game object. I'm going to reset it, and I'm going to add a box collider to it. And I'm going to change the size of the box collider to 247 in X and 247 in Y, R and Z. Zoom in. Now where I got these numbers from is if you look at the scale of the image target, you'll see that it's set to 247 in each X, Y and Z. Sorry, and that's how I found out what the width was. Now you can scale it this way as well if you really wanted to, and adjust it that way. I like using the box collider, so what I'm going to do is change the width a bit. So probably 280 is going to be enough, I reckon, and scale the height down to maybe 210. There we go. Oh. We'll also need to change the height. So we're going to change the height of this to say 20. See what that looks like. That's not too bad. I'm going to go into top down view, and I'm going to rename this to box collider. I'm going to duplicate it, drag one inside the cube and one inside the sphere. Inside the sphere I just need to change that to 0 and it will snap in place. Now these two green boxes are the distance or how sensitive the marker collision is going to be. So by changing the size of these box colliders, you can adjust how sensitive you want your collision to be. Now for this to work, one of them is going to need a rigid body. Okay, but we don't want gravity come into effect because we don't want the box collider to be falling in infinite minus y. And I'm going to turn the other box collider into a trigger. So now all we need to do is we need to add an FSM with two states, and a trigger enter is what I want to use. Okay. I will also need two custom events, so in this case I'll call this marker collision, and I'll call it marker exit as well. This state's gonna be marker is inside another marker. It's gonna be trigger exit, and it's going to send the exit event. This one's gonna be the collision one, and we can copy the actions over, but change it to trigger enter, and then change it to marker collision. And this is the listening state. And that should be it. So if I was to go on, yep, so you can see the states there is happening, so it's changing backwards and forwards. If you want feedback on the screen, you can tick this box on and then select both colliders, and you'll see them on the game view. Okay. So we can see that they're touching. I'm going to give you two more feedback steps to help you guys out. So one is color spelled the American way. We're going to specify it as the sphere. And the default color is going to be the one that was used, so I got that using the picker. I'm going to copy this and I'm going to paste it inside this one. Except I'm going to change this to red. And now if we press play, you can see when we touch, it goes red. So select those two again. The other thing that you might find when you're making your app is you don't want your markers being triggered by something else other than the actual markers or the box colliders. So what you need to do is add a tag. So if you go add tag, you'll see that there's this little arrow, and then you can add one in. I already have one called marker. And then in your FSM state, all you need to do is change the collide tag to marker on each of these. Okay. And that will guarantee that only the marker or these two box colliders will activate each other, nothing else will. And this is really handy if you have houses with rigid bodies or character controller running around. Okay. And that's it for this tutorial. I hope it's been of help.